Y'all on twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman, youtube.com, Ben Hamin, live stream infidels as we parallel parked up with the motherfucker sideways. Me and Big Ray talking about back in my day. And that's right, we're back here at the Impact Attack infidels. You waving me off? Am I getting the sign to steal home or what? Well, you're muted, so I can't even hear.
You're robotic, choppy, and I could barely hear what you're saying.
Really? All right, let me drop.
All right, now you're right. Now you're back.
Now I'm back. They don't want that Kanye verse. They don't want that parallel park that motherfucker sideways. Old folks talking about me and Big Ray back in my day. And he's back, man, looking better than ever. Man, I'm so happy. Kicked out after surgery. Got on the Stevie Richards Fitness. Got the attack of the fresh bald heads this morning, infidels. We're stronger than ever here on the Impact Attack. Hacker Hamin and Big Ray the Machine. Y'all. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see myself lose any frame rates, but whatever, man. I appreciate you giving me the heads up, saying don't steal. They'll pick you off on the stealing home there, baby. As we kick it off, Big Ray, how you doing this morning? Good to see you, pal.
I am doing fantastic this morning. The holidays are just around the corner, bro. Big shout out to all my Jewish brethren and sisters out there. Happy Hanukkah. Big shout out to you guys. Everybody that I've been, at the shoot job has been amazing to me, bro. I mean, it's been a really, really good holiday season so far, man. And it's about to come down. So apparently, we're about to, New York City is under siege. It's going to be 5 feet of snow apparently here.
Really? Wow.
Which
I mean,
well, not 5 feet, maybe like about 12 inches. Which
That's well. I mean, I've seen that. I'm not going to say, that it can't happen, dude. And when I was in college, it's out the other side of the state, past Buffalo, though. In 4 days, it snowed 56 inches.
That's what she said.
Dude, 56 inches deep in a motherfucker, man. Like the snow on the ground was touching the snow on the roof. If you didn't have it off the roof by then. It was crazy, dude. So
I don't know what 56 inches looks like. New York, over here in New York City, we haven't gotten any snow in the last year and a half, dude. So I had to hit the sneeze button there. So when you wake up in the morning and you just have the sniffles and stuff. I went out, picked up something from the store. I just feel like I feel great. But I'm still in that whole wake up mode. I don't know. You can see the bad gimmicks in my eyes, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, well, I'm on my second cup already, so I'm gonna be chatty Cathy of Broster's coffee. The wife went out, grabbed me some of that mid card Nicaragua blend. That's my favorite. That's the Russo brand blend as well. So you can go to brosterscoffee.com and it'll kick you in the ass in the morning, man. It's above your average coffee from your grocery store when it comes to caffeine, but it's not one of those retarded, make you jittery and like you can't focus type of gimmicks.
Well, like I said in the pre-roll, it's not your average cup of Joe, bro.
Oh no, that pre-roll is fucking phenomenal. By the way, I wanted to say thanks again. People were putting over how great it was. Hustle Rip Rogers on the new FR podcast marked out for you, bro. Like put it over. I don't know why you don't want to listen to me. You'd rather fucking.
No.
No, you should be fucking getting your reel ready. Getting it to Scott Demore, getting it to the hands of the people we need, and your name should be in the mix in conversations, and you should just be laying out, not because you don't think so. I know you fucking want to take time and bury Darby Allin, but the reality is you could be the voice of Impact, dude, and that's no fucking lie.
Let me tell you, man, I'll stooge it off. I reached out to our main man, Ted the Trailer McNailer, and he asked me to give him some stuff to work on a sizzle reel for me. So I actually, what happened was, when I heard
stuff, let me be critical of you on the air right here. I'll show you how I do it. Your voice is your money. I mean, aside from your physical stature, which you could have easily been a pro wrestler. I mean, people don't Ray's one of those guys on camera who looks smaller than he is in real life. The physical stature wise, just frame wise, Ray could put on, if he wanted to, another 100 pounds of muscle on top of that and be as big as Brian if he wanted to go B12. He absolutely could. There's no lie. But Ray's real magic is his voice, and as soon as you hear the chocolate rain in it, you know what's up. But here's the thing. You're also not a trained voice. It's all natural, which is awesome and is good because even though you've got a lot of reps in, you're still a little bit of unmolded clay. And instead of having bad things locked in, you can still be shaped to be, ready to go how somebody wants you to be. That's not a bad thing, being a little bit unmolded that way. So I'm
always willing to learn too, by the way.
No, I know you are. And that, of course you are. You're great at it. You're great at it, being able to submit and rebuild. Not a lot of people can do that either. That's a huge skill. Is your stuff is awesome for radio, but we need to work on the pacing of the epicness of it. You're doing great in the pre-rolls. That's exactly what I want to. But now you need to go back and watch and listen to the way the guy who did the Impact ones who just passed away, that gentleman had there's very few people who have that in their voice, and you have it naturally, and so did he. But his cadence, not saying you got to rip him off completely, but his flow in where you take breaks for radio, he powers through for voiceover, and it's just a different technique. It's nothing wrong that you're doing, but I think to show them on a sizzle reel, it's not just what you did in the past. It's what you can do, and here's how I would do your stuff a little bit too. So I think you need to spend like 2 hours reading the names of the roster in order, back and forth, and getting it smooth. And bro, I can't see anybody that I've heard fuck with you, bro, with your wrestling knowledge, with the ins that you have. And if you just sharpen your swords a little bit more, you're going to be over prepared for the opportunity when it comes. Then that's Rip Rogers 101, dude. And it's not, dude, you know how hard it is to get a compliment from Rip fucking Rogers, dude?
Well, let me jump in. So the thing that kind of kicked me in the ass, is because Rip people don't know, Rip does not give compliments.
I'm going to jump on something because they're asking if I'm having audio issues. So I'll be right.
All right. So, listen, guys, let's be real. I mean, whenever you get a guy like Rip Rogers, a legend, I was talking to a friend of mine, Ben is back. I was talking to a friend of mine at work, and he's a big wrestling fan. And I had showed him just a little clip that I took out, Ben, that I didn't put public. And I said, that's Rip Rogers. And he knows exactly who this person is. He knows who Rip Rogers. Anyway, so I said, dude, this guy, his job, his specialty was, not only teaching people how to work in a ring, but his thing is character. And the fact that Rip would put over that aspect of what I do, I'm saying, the character, the voice, so on and so forth, that shit meant the world. Like, it meant the world to me. It really meant the world to me. So,
who else do you ever hear him do that for? Not many, dude. Only like when he's talking about Man Beast doing 90 minutes and shit like that. But like, that's fucking, I was like, wow, yeah, dude, that should tell you, get your fucking asshole tight and get ready to fucking go. Because here's the other thing, as much as I've been able to pass on whatever knowledge I can to you, if you get that spot, they're going to test you, and that's a whole different thing because you haven't come up through the locker rooms and shit like that. But look at, how I would say, over prepare for the opportunity. That's Rip. But like, I believe when you feel the stars align and then you see the opportunity, the door opens and you go through it, not only, and I'm not trying to capitalize off of this gentleman's passing, but there's an opportunity there and there's a need. And a very specific position, the voice that sets the tone, you know what I mean? And facilitates the stories and builds the epicness of it. Plus, Madison Rayne is leaving commentary.
Ooh.
If they can get a 2-for-1 where you can do the epic stuff and you can do the radio commentary thing, dude, I just feel like it's not for me. I mean, I'd have to shave the beard, do the whole thing. But I feel the stars aligning right now. And is it about to come into focus to move through? And yeah, the reel is essential, but it's also got to be more than that too. So you guys have now got the behind the scenes, whether you heard it or not, because my audio is shitty. Let me know if the audio after I dropped in and dropped out is any better.
Well, what's happening is you're talking, and then all of a sudden you talk like this.
Really?
I'm like, oh shit.
It did it again. It did it again.
It did it just a little bit. It wasn't too bad.
I'll hop in and hop out. Let me hop in and hop out real quick.
I mean, you sound pretty
yeah. Sometimes that just fixes it. Is all.
You sound pretty good right now. I mean, you don't have to do anything much.
Okay.
But yeah, man. But anyway, to put a cap on it, man. That whole Rip Rogers thing, and for people that don't know what I'm talking about, you have to subscribe to the fucking rotten, dude.
Yeah.
The FR podcast. It's $5 a month for those who can't afford it. It's absolutely worth it, and not just because he put me over. It's because like legit. Every single episode I've listened to, I've learned something. And I was telling Ben off air.
People are getting the education that we paid $2,000 a year, $40 a week to Rip for. Like usually some people pay for the whole year. Some people put $500, $1,000. Rip, he's going to take your money no matter what. But if you got to pay your $40 a week, fucking, you're getting what we got for $5.
Right.
And you're not having to take no fucking bumps where he tells you you're rotten and goes make you throw up in the corner too. That's the $35, the fun stuff that you really get from training with him live.
But I want people to know is that, and again, we've been, you've known Rip for many years, and it's weird because I was telling you this off air that I always saw Rip in one way, but Rip has this crazy grandpa type charisma that you legit fall in love with. Like he just, you could tell he cares so much.
He's Mickey from Rocky. He's Customato. He's fucking all that. And there's not a lot of those guys left on this planet. And that's the magic you're paying for. And while we're doing this, I mean, I hope Rip's around for another 20 years, 30 years, no doubt. But while we're doing this, we're also building a legacy and library of knowledge that'll last for long after he's gone. And we're trying to do that with other legendary stars too, man. But I know you realize what for him to put you over. And he even went back and listened to the episode from 3 years ago.
Oh yes. And that blew me away because
here's my point. Everyone is always listening. Even when Rip goes, I don't fucking watch that shit. I don't listen to that fuck that. They're always listening, bro.
And can I give a little advice to people that are getting into doing this just a little bit? I've been doing this for 10 years, like more or less, and I started working with Bill Apter. And when I'm talking about doing this, I'm talking about interviewing, a worker. Listen, what I found is, you want to be yourself. You don't want to be marking out, and the term marking out is just like, like a fanboy. You want to have a conversation, a one-on-one conversation with that pro wrestler that you're interviewing. I found, I've interviewed everybody from JJ Dillon to AJ Styles, back to Rip Rogers. And Rip Rogers, he said a term to me that I really appreciated. He said, he was so respectful. And the thing of respect is letting that person talk, because you're not the star of the show. I hear a lot of interviewers and people interviewing the wrestlers, and they don't shut up. They don't let the wrestlers get the word in edgewise. And what I've learned to do, Ben, and I'm sure I know you're a master at your craft when it comes to this. When you're interviewing somebody, it's like bullet points. You have bullet point questions, and just let the wrestler go. Let the worker work. Let that person. And that's how that person gets over. Because again, this is what you want to do. So I've been listening to a lot of other podcasters and stuff, and people that are starting off. I just wanted to advise you that. Oh, and another thing, you'd be surprised, because people will say, "Oh, I can't get this person on my show. I can't get this person on my show." You'd be surprised if you just ask. If you just
There's no better time than now. Everybody's home. You have the best opportunity to catch the biggest names, because nobody's out, doing what they do as stars right now. Everyone's just kicking it, fucking doing whatever. Why wouldn't they want to get themselves over?
Do you remember we did like an Eddie Edwards interview. Speaking of Eddie Edwards, he's on the show. And Eddie, like, we were supposed to be, I forgot what pay-per-view we were supposed to be talking about, which we put over. But I don't know if you remember, I noticed like a big toy transformer gun in the background. Mm-hmm. And if you've seen the joy in his face when he got up, he got the gun, he started talking about it. These are little moments that not everybody, because not for nothing, Ben, if you're being interviewed, and they ask you, what was your first match like? What is it like taking a bump?
Yeah, dude.
You know, like it's over and over again. But if I'm asking you, man, Ben, that is an amazing beard. How do you get that thing looking so beautiful? You know,
oh, man. CanYouHandleBar.com, man. I've been growing this thing out for a long time. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, you're right. That was that it's about, to be honest with you, most of the time the last thing wrestlers want to talk about is wrestling. They don't want to answer the same shit over and over and over again. That's been done. But some people are new to the characters, whether it's me or something. Sometimes you got to cover it over and over again. And I don't mind talking about my history. It doesn't, but it's just like, oh, we could relate in the moment, or I can educate you about me. And so both dances are good to do. But yeah, laying out is an important knowing when, especially where you are in the pecking order. Sometimes it's not even about laying out as a host. It's about laying out as a guest. And even though my name's on the door here, and a lot of guys, I give marching orders to, and they're just doing unbelievable things in their life now. When I'm on Russo brand and we're on the front page of Twitch and Stevie Ray does the run in to put heat on Russo, I gotta lay out and be the young boy again. And that's kind of fun for me because I don't get the opportunity to do that. But there's times where guys walk in the locker room and Hacker Hamin gets his ass up and gives him his seat right away. You don't even fucking bat an eyelash. It's just about where you are in that time,
I don't know what's going on today with your audio. I have no idea. I'm trying not to, put over the fact that we're having some audio issues. The podcast may sound a little rough, but I just wanted to advise.
It might not, because on mine I'm not hearing it, but listen, I get the masters.
I just really wanted to put over, if you guys want a great example of somebody who comes off a little marky, but he's not a mark, go to onewrestling.com. Okay, go to One Wrestling Video and watch the way Bill Apter, stands there and interviews these people. He is a master at making whoever he's interviewed shine. And he does it in such a way where he gets over, but at the same time, and he's fucking Bill Apter. He's been
he's a personality. He's established.
Right. But if you look at the humility in his interviews and the way he sets people up and stuff, that's who I learned from. Like, really, when it came to interviewing people,
sure. He's
excellent, dude. He's absolutely fantastic. That's somebody that you can, and tell him Big Ray sent you. I just spoke to my Jewish uncle the other day. He's doing very well. That
guy's the standard bearer. It's not like you even got to study. You should know that style. Like, that's just how it is in wrestling. Mean Gene style and whatnot. So, and hopefully by 2021 they're gonna know Big Ray style. I think you are, and we'll talk more off air. But it's time to fucking set your heights a little bit higher and get ready to get your fucking shit tested. And I'll tell you right now, you better curb that Puerto Rican blood, because they will find that and they will exploit that, and then it won't be about anything else. But welcome to professional wrestling.
Yeah, dude.
Said.
I got to tell you, I do have a fighter's mentality, man, and it's very difficult to.
Got to kayfabe it in the locker room, bro. That's what they want to do, is get a rise out of you. And
I'm putting it out there. I mean, but I think when that opportunity happens, I'm not going to say if, I feel when the opportunity, I feel like I've earned that opportunity. I've done so
I don't
much
think
work.
that. Don't ever feel like that. Feel like I'm going for it. It's mine. I want to work towards this, and then you earn it. When you're there doing the read for it, then you earned it.
I just want to do my best and just have fun doing it. There's nothing better than like my shoot job, Ben. I love my shoot job because of the people that I work for and the fun that I have there. And I don't have the best work, like hourly schedule. I work, 4 to midnight, which a lot of people would hate, but I legit enjoy every single minute of it because it's just fucking awesome. Great people.
It's not like you'd be going to Impact, right? You'd be doing the job right here, how it is, remotely in your own place, doing the voiceovers and sending them to Josh Matthews, and Josh gives them to whoever, like that's how everything's put together now. But that doesn't mean you can't make it happen, dude. I mean, not, so let's hold a good thought for it and start putting in the work in the next 2-3 weeks to get the stars aligned so you can take that shot, man.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the Twitch chat room. We got Fudge 420. right here live. Frank's Pickle Barrel Lass. Frank's Pickle Barrel Lass? All right. What's Frank's Pickle Barrel?
Before I'll hit him. Daniel Price in the house. I got him all right here. Buckshot Kid. I'm the best. Well, I guess so is in here. Deshaun Hairston's in the house as well. A real El Plaza, own propaganda master with a new hot video for the Conspiracy Horseman. Great stuff there, man. Gam Wolfers, a.k.a. Greg Miron, the moron in the house as well. So I see 30 strong. So there's some lurkers. Don't think I can't see you because I can, infidels. I'm Hacker Hamin. And it's twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman tonight. Tim Alberino coming back to talk his new book about and I might have to go in hot on him. I'm a big Tim Alberino mark, but I was watching this other interview and it left me, some of the things he was saying were getting me hot, bro. So there'll be a lot of angels, demons, and UFO talk tonight.
I love that. I love the religious and the religion talk and the science talk and mixing it in and the conspiracy theories all, to put the cherry on the cake. It's fantastic, guys, if you haven't listened. But Ben, I gotta ask you something, man.
Yeah.
I really gotta ask you something. People are saying that this whole Blake Troop Papa Don thing is a work, and it may have come off that way, but I'm not even joking. Like, before you talk,
the original thing and all that. No, it wasn't.
All right, so I'm gonna put this out there. All right, and I'm not on either side. I love Blake. I think I had a big hand at bringing him in. He's a friend of mine, but I also, as much as I fight with Papa Don, I have a lot of respect and love for Papa Don as well, and these guys genuinely don't like each other. They rub each other the wrong way.
Blake went into business for himself to fucking try and get over instead of doing things the right way. See what I'm saying? Where everything's a test.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's not that he wasn't trying to do something. He just didn't do it the right. And it's not what he did didn't work in front of the crowd. He didn't do it the right way, dude.
Well, let me just explain something. So I don't know if you guys have listened to Cage Theory. And I left it in, it sounded like a worker, but these guys had been talking, and JB, he records and stuff. And he's like, you want to leave it in? Anyway, what Blake Troop said there wasn't a work. Like that's how he feels. And Papa Don reached out to me. Papa Don's like, dude, where can I hear what he said? So Papa Don is hot. So of
course he is. He's fucking GGP. He's the fucking veteran of 15 years and a dude who has had a great year and is putting the work in. He's even down at Seidel Dojo right now. So I'm not saying Blake Troop is a fucking cream puff, but at the same time, he thought he was fucking picking a soft target and could get away with it. And he might have picked the right target, but he fucked up in the way that he did it. And now, like, that's where the work in the shoot is the fucking real thing. You know what I mean? So I haven't heard what he said on the show. I know people are saying, oh, it's on this or that, but I know how GGP feels. Believe me. And I'm not here to say that shit on air. So,
here's the thing. I know how Blake feels. And I genuinely feel there is an animosity, I guess you would say, or not even that, just like a dislike.
There definitely is, dude. And that's something I don't want to have to deal with again. You know what I mean? I've had, like, that's the last thing. And GGP's like, he's like, I'm sorry that this shit's fucking bleeding over, but this guy's fucking out of control. And I'm like, I don't know what he said, but and I missed a call from Javid, and like, so I'm just like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like if Blake Troop wants to try and cross into wrestling, you can be MMA as fuck. We've seen it with Shayna Baszler or whatever, dude. When the lights hit you, and if it's got to go, GGP could make him look as silly as he fucking wants to because GGP is that good. And if Blake shoots on him, GGP will just take his eye out. That's the thing that MMA guys don't think about with heel wrestlers and shit like that. You might get all the shit you want in, but when I fucking put my Roddy Piper on your fucking ass, we'll see what the fuck happens after that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that they don't think about.
I'm at a little bit of an impasse, man. I really, guys, and also I want to put over Cage Theory, the work that Javed, JB, aka JB, is doing over there. We haven't seen John Hartnett on
because it did get smoothed out, right? And then it went quiet, and then Now I don't know what the instigation was, but that's what not that I didn't want Cage Theory to be a part of the show and shit like that, but I was like, all right, you brought him in, let's do good biz, and he's fucking, been doing. He has those guys have great insight into the fight game from every perspective, betting, behind the scenes, in the cage, all on one show. But that don't mean you can fucking come in and swing dick in the locker room just because you fucking want to. There's going to be a price to pay for it.
Well, I think eventually what I may try to do, and I tried to do this before, but it fell apart. And it fell apart, I think, more because these two guys genuinely don't like each other. But I would love to have these guys on Cage Theory together to maybe talk things out, because I think this is going to end up in either as the fans would say, a work, but I think it's going to end up a shoot, and that this is my fear.
It's not ending up. It's definitely a shoot. From what I was told last night, it's definitely a shoot.
Right, and this is what I'm trying to say. Like I genuinely like both dudes. Blake is my boy. I love Papa Don, man, as much as he grinds my gears. But I feel like I'm caught in the middle. You know what I mean?
Blake is the one, in my opinion. This is not GGP is my tag partner. Blake has had such a good year. He's in such great shape. He has so much potential, but he's feeling himself, and he fucking makes wrong decisions. Not that he fucking shoots his mouth off and he can't back it up in a shoot, but if you're trying to cross over into what we do, there's a way that things get done. It's just like a fucking non-made guy can't go up and slap a fucking made guy in the face. You're done, right? In the mob, like you're done. And that's kind of the situation we have here. So the guy who is an associate and isn't fucking made, who just claims that he is the one who's at fault. It might not seem like a way in the reality of society, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fucking of what we do. You know what I mean? So like, imagine if fucking GGP, if there were crowds at UFC fights and GGP showed up after Troop went over and he's fucking celebrating and shit, and he made him look like a bitch on the fucking way out of his shit, would fucking he be? There's a price to pay for everything. So.
Well, listen, we're going to end this talk here. We're going to get into Impact. And look, man, I'm just saying, for all those out there that think that I mean, it may sound like a work. It may sound like these guys are working. It may sound like they're cutting promos on each other. And maybe some of it started that way. Maybe some of it is here and there. Maybe I don't know.
GGP's going to get a payday. You can fucking guarantee. There's one thing the bookie monster knows how to fucking do. It's business. But I'm telling you, it doesn't mean that Brett and Sean work together, but they fucking hate each other.
Right. So just understand that at any moment, these two guys are in the ring, quote unquote, working, it can fall apart quick. So
I don't think it's going to be that.
I gotta get these guys on together.
I don't even know what the fuck is happening. I just know I have to deal with the fallout, and it takes away from my time. So everybody owes me money for fucking the time I have to waste on this shit.
Just check out Cage Theory if you're fans of mixed martial arts. JB gave me some amazing off-air ideas moving forward for 2021. Me and you can talk about that, dude. MMA is
he's killing it with those pick'em challenges. Those the Excel sheets he does and shit. That just blows my mind. I'm like, I'd fucking jump off the roof if I had to do all that Excel work.
Well, guess what? Don't get no better than that.
No, I don't.
Don't get no better. All right, so you ready to talk some Impact Wrestling?
Yeah, man, it was a good show, dude. I enjoyed it. It was much better paced than last week, and I think this was a really good back on track.
It was Impact Wrestling this week. It wasn't AEW All Elite Impact Wrestling. It was Impact Wrestling with a sprinkle of AEW.
We got to talk. I mean, I watched a little of the pay-per-view in between, but they were like, talk pay-per-view biz. Well, I mean, they really, on their pay-per-view, forwarded a lot of stories instead of paying things off, which isn't a bad thing to do. But I think let's do 30% less pay-per-views and do those forwardings on as our cliffhangers on our TV show. It's going to make it even better. You know what I mean? So, because right now those pay-per-views are just an extra expense on a Saturday with no crowd, no live draw. They got to be losing money on buys unless they thought they could get it back by having Omega on there. But I don't know, man. Like there's just too much oversaturation with their payoff shows in between 3 weeks of TV.
I agree. The pay-per-view, and I was listening to you, I think, on the Monday Locker Room with Rick and Ted, and I agree with you, man. Like, I think Impact Wrestling, if they want to continue to succeed, I don't know if you call what they're doing succeeding now. I feel that they are. Again, my opinion.
And I would say no. Like, here's what, but it's not because of their own fault, right? Like,
right.
COVID has them fucked.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And look, and when you're doing a pay-per-view and there is no crowd reaction, like you said, do some piped in freaking do some piped in noises. Me versus Colin. What's going on here?
Colin, MSG for Shamrock, and me versus Tyler Davis on the undercard for GGP versus Blake Troop.
Yo, let me put over really quickly my brother Colin. People do not understand this kid. He comes off like a little redneck, a little small. He's number one. He's not a small guy. Number two, this kid is a trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Like Colin has a little bit of a hot streak, and plus, he's Latino by injection. If you know what I mean.
And he's into human trafficking. So, he'll choke you out, put you in a shipping container, and you'll wake up in Argentina. You don't know.
I kid you not. I call him on fucking FaceTime, right? I like talking to the kids. I call them kids because they change every fucking day.
Yeah, I mean,
this week it was like a fucking Asian kid.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, bro. I mean, these sushi restaurants don't run themselves.
It was an Asian kid with frosted tips. The kid. He said the kid was 2 years old. The kid had a mustache. I don't know what the hell was going on.
Probably working on a Honda out in the fucking driveway too.
But neither here nor there. Listen, Ben, let's jump into this match, man. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was Alicia Edwards. So,
sure.
All right, Tenille Dashwood goes over on this. Obviously Caleb with a K was being distracting, during the whole match, so on and so forth. I wanted to talk about Alicia Edwards and her in-ring acumen. And I'm gonna tell you something. I have pooped on her in the past, but I genuinely think she's getting better. I think aesthetically she needs to put on a few pounds of muscle to look a little more physically imposing. But with her character, and I'm going to say this, and I want to hear your reply. She is that skinny guy from the neighborhood that's just fucking crazy and nobody wants to fight him. She could be that guy or that girl.
She's a Boston Southie bad bitch who will fucking grab you by your hair and fucking hockey fight you if we need to. But right now we're building her as a baby face. So I think you're only going to be as good of a heel as you are as a baby face. But I think she could be a baby face ass whipper. And I like where you're going with that. They just need to show the process of her putting the muscle on and Eddie training her to be more vicious. And then you set her free. I think that's a great idea. But what you're saying, Ray, is 100% right. And this happens. It happened with me. And I'm not saying I'm good by any means, but you're rotten. You're rotten. You're rotten. Even if you're getting opportunities, you're still better than other people, or somebody, or your husband's Eddie, or whatever. And then you get enough reps in, and then something goes off, and you start to get it. Am I borging out again? Am I?
It's fine. It's fine. I got the gist of what you were saying, and
you start to get it. You start to understand it, and then the audience can see that you get it, and you look like a different performer.
I love when you have somebody, and again, I'm gonna come off like I'm shitting on AEW. I'm not, but I'm gonna use Brandy Rose as an example. Okay, Brandy Rose is absolutely terrible in the ring, my opinion.
She hasn't had the time or training to get better.
But here's the thing. That's the thing. She's not putting in the time. I don't think she feels like maybe she feels like she doesn't need to put in the time because she is married.
How do you know that she's not putting in the time?
What, didn't you just say that?
Well, there's a difference. Alicia worked NEW. She would be on the road with Eddie and work matches at Shine and Shimmer. So even while she was doing that, she might still be rotten, but she's getting reps in.
Right. So what I'm saying is
the only time that Brandy's getting reps in is on TV, or if she's working at QT Marshall's school. You know what I mean? And practicing. So I'm saying, how often is she at QT Marshall's working fundamentals to be ready for TV? You know what I mean? So
should she be on TV then? Like wrestling?
Yeah, not in the capacity of wrestling, no.
No, and should she be as because they have her as a world beater type character, and she shouldn't be. I don't think she should. To me,
but she should do it in a heel way and still try and look professional.
It's disrespectful to me, you know, especially for talent like, and I'm using a talent like Alicia Edwards as an example too.
It's just a misuse of Brandy. That's all. It's not the fact that Brandy's, you know, like
I don't like it.
I can't disagree. They've restarted her 6 different ways in a year's time, man. And
don't like it.
And even with the Shaq thing this week, she's like the ghetto CEO.
Yeah, what is she supposed to be, Ben? Is she a ghetto chick that's gonna that all of a sudden?
This is what I'm telling you. You can't hold them almost accountable because they're still little kids to this shit. You know what I mean? It took me 8 years before I really started getting it. Even after fucking 8 years of improv performance in ring, it wasn't until about towards the end of my 2CW run when I really started to get it, like 2014. Right. So, you know, and from there I've carried it over. So that's what you're seeing with Alicia now. Brandy, if they're around and in this business and she's still working, 2026 is going to be Brandy's year. People be like, Brandy's fucking good, but it takes that amount of time, bro. And that's what you're seeing the difference in right there.
Wasn't she getting training at FCW?
Who?
Back in the day? What's her name? Brandy?
Maybe, possibly. I mean, Dusty was alive and they were together. I met Brandy at OVW when they first started dating. So, you know, that was a long time ago. So she's had gold dust and all them around her. It's just how much do you want to put your little body through in a practice to be in ring shape, to do 2 Rip Rogers practices a week and then do 3 shows, 2 TV shows, 1 road show, and then maybe another show, the Summer Sizzler Series or on the road. There were weeks we do 5 shows and 2 practices. Dude, to get to that point, it's 3 months of bumping in the ring constantly. You feel like you got hit by a truck every fucking day. And then all of a sudden your body just is used to the pain and it hardens up and then you're ready to go in ring shape and everything hurts, your neck, your shoulders, whatever, but you can go for a year like that afterwards. Is she putting in the time to feel that way? She'd be walking around crippled if she was, believe me.
Strangler Sally says that Alicia's acting is not good. And I don't disagree, but I don't know if she's acting. I think she's just her. Like I really think
when you need to set up the premise. You need to set the premise up to make her shine. What can we take from The Departed? The whole thing with Alicia, as soon as she opens her mouth, you know she's I don't know, I'm not trying to insult her, but what the world would think is she's kind of white trash from Southie, right? In Boston. So how do we play that up of her being a not give the fuck kind of bitch? She's sometimes how do we set Alicia up to have a thing where she's kind of sexy, but then she talks and then something sets her off to beat the shit out of somebody? Sorry guys, I don't know what's up. I'm not hearing any distortion. It's got to be Spectrum. So you're on mute.
You know, Spectrum, you suck. I just unmuted myself because
and they just raised Spectrum's not wives were going crazy because of fucking they raised the price again without saying anything.
Unbelievable. That's what they do. Heels over strong. But the reason why I wanted to get in this conversation is because I wanted to give, you know, Alicia a compliment. And I feel like she's putting in the work. She's working hard. Like I'm watching her. I'm like, this girl is working on her character. She is not the same Alicia Edwards that she was when you and I were still doing the show. And me and Matt was doing the Impact Attack. Not the same person. she's changed. And that, for me, that's the best. I love seeing somebody grow. I love it. We see it here within our platform, and we're seeing it on TV. So very well done by her. But, at the end of the match, Colin, oh, my guy called you Colin, Ben. At the end of the match, we got Sami Callihan. You would be so lucky. He's a handsome son of a bitch. Sami Callihan's music begins to play. And Eddie Edwards is in the ring and says, come on, Sami. And Sami comes in and he tells Eddie that, look, the story is far from over. And he warns him to enjoy his family over the holidays because it may be the last one. And again, people are like, oh, but we've seen this already. And I have to reiterate the fact that, yes, we've seen this, but the 15,000 plus tuning in on Twitch, which is, again, a really high number for Impact Wrestling, especially on Twitch, and the new fan base hasn't seen this. They may not know about the baseball bat to the face. They may not know about the blood feud. Now Impact is at a point where they have these two talents who are fantastic together in a storyline that there's a blood feud. How many blood feuds, Ben, do you know of in the WWE? Like a blood feud. This is a blood feud, dude.
Yeah, kind of got me pumped because at one point you're like, oh, they just have to go back because they don't really have much for either of these guys. But I know both these guys very well from their time in WCW. Huge respect for them both. And what I see here is something classic that we haven't seen in a long time. Raven and Dreamer. Raven and Dreamer, that level of blood feud is going to be something that these guys could do for a year to 2 years going forward if they want to, if it's built the right way. And you could even spin out Havoc and put her with Sammy if you want to down the road once they do their thing with the women's tag.
I'm dying for that, Ben. For Havoc and Sammy to work together. Why not? Like,
if you're going to cross barriers, this is the time to do it in the next 3 months.
Yeah. Well, I think it's about time that they do this. Anyway, all in all, Ben, a couple of the positives I've seen out of this first segment. We've seen an Alicia Edwards that seems that she's coming into her own little by little, and I think 2021 she could be even better. And I'm excited about this feud moving forward. Had two pieces.
I would give her most improved player if it wasn't for Moose. Her and Moose have come a long way, bro.
Moose is the man, dude. I love Moose. Moose, we can get into this conversation in the main event, but Moose, for me, they need to put that belt somehow on Moose as soon as possible. And I think he can be a serious babyface. He doesn't have to be a heel. Hear me out. You know what? We'll talk about it later on. Why don't we talk about Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne? They inform us that the AEW, should I point in the camera and do the fucking gimmick while I'm doing the shooting thing?
Why not?
Bang! Anyway, the AEW champion, the greatest wrestler of all time, according to AEW fans, Kenny Omega and Don Callis are back for tonight's show. So I'm excited about it. We got the Bullet Club. Will they be? Are they allowed to be called the Bullet Club? Too sweet, Ben. Too sweet me. Come on, too sweet me.
Briz Cliz, Briz.
Speaking of Carl Anderson, Ben, his opponent tonight will be Chris Sabin. He's ready to keep this feud going. So, Ben, when you heard that Kenny Omega was back on Impact tonight, what ran through your mind? Really quickly.
How are the numbers going to do? What's our increase and how much can we retain off of it? So I liked what I don't like and don't care about is Japan accolades. This is the G1. He wasn't even super G, whatever, like these little inside jokes for Jargo and 6 other people.
Mm-hmm.
That shit don't impress me. Of how they're trying to sell it, but that's an angle that they stuck to. So at least they committed to it. So I was down with it. It felt more about Kenny and the crew at that time and tying them together. So I thought this worked better than last week to kind of set up that they were watching throughout with these pre-tapes. I liked it. The opener with the girls was solid enough, and then to go right into this. But they were at 50,000 last week live on Twitch at their max. They were at 14,000 this week on their max. Now, that being said, before AEW came on, they were doing 2,500 to 3,000 on their Twitch. So if you look at it of that, they did, 20,000 or 2,000% more than they were, but now they're down to about 400% of where they were. So the fall off is pretty steep, even though this week's performances were better than last week's.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Remember how I think we spoke about this, but I was telling William Alicia, who reports AEW on the Hamin Media discussion group. You can, please, guys, go check that out. If you're on Facebook, you need to check that out. But I was telling him that, AEW can pop a number, Impact Wrestling can pop a number, but it's retaining the fans. And I think they retained a certain percentage of the people that came last week. What I do is when I'm watching this on Twitch, I like to listen, not listen, but look at the chat room to see what people are saying. And I don't understand, like the AEW fans, they're very critical of anything other than AEW. And I was noticing that as well. They were very critical of WWE on Impact. All they were doing was the fanboys were talking, were trashing WWE. Why can't you just sit back and enjoy what the hell you're seeing in front of you? Because it was a great show.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand how that works.
That's why they're the diehard interactors. If they're not pundits reviewing it in a certain way, they want to feel tribal. I mean, it's in our DNA, right? So if they think this is where they're going, they're gonna knuckle up in the trenches and be ready to go. So I got to respect them as soldiers, even as delusional as they are most of the time. It's fine to send that first wave of people into battle, and then you can ride down with the cavalry and wipe them all out. So
I'm gonna give AEW fans some credit here.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this, Ben? Because I never give them credit. Mm-hmm. You are loyal as fuck,
and almost to a fault, but that's not the worst thing. And we were talking about the three differences and what is and isn't working, and it's all dystopian, and none of it really works. You have Impact with a complete empty arena and no sound.
Right.
Without me doing the Impact watch along playing Biggie Smalls in the back, it would be a far different show. You know what I mean? Like, and what then. I have Thunderdome with a bunch of screens, and it's weird, and people being told to do thumbs down and it's weird. And then we have AEW with their weirdo neckbeard fans, spread throughout an empty arena, and then the rest of the roster, that are wrestlers at ringside, acting as plants, which kind of works, but also hurts the credibility because we know it's all workers there. So none of these three strategies are truly effective. And it's like weird in three different ways while we're trying to hopefully retain some type of normalcy in this fucking obscure world that we're living in right now.
Well, I got some heat with William Alicia over at the
Big Willie.
Unbelievable. I mean, this guy, what a freaking mark. He puts over every time AEW pops a number here, but he never reports on anything else anymore. WWE, God forbid, Vince McMahon farts sideways, and it's the worst thing that ever happened. But fucking AEW, oh Jesus!
Well, we're trying to get on the Tony Khan payroll. Come on, Big Ray, get with
it. Ted McNaylor was watching The Wrath of Khan the other day.
I sued you to Triple D, so they're gonna hook it up. So
I'm trying to think, guys out there. I would reach out to Ted McNaylor, tweet him. I don't know. What is it, at the Man Beast or at the
at Ted the Man Beast?
At Ted the Man Beast. He's on Instagram, and just keep suggesting movies for him to watch, like movies that you may think, oh, he had watched this movie. No,
Young Guns. I never seen Young Guns.
Tombstone. Have you ever seen Tombstone?
I'm probably not.
Oh my God. Anyway,
I didn't get to see that one, dude.
Anyway, by the way, it's good to see you, Ben. It's good to talk to you. Just
you too, Ray.
Just us, man. I don't think you guys know how much I care about Ben. I care about him. I care about you, Ben.
I care about you too. Absolutely.
Anyway, we have Carl Anderson backstage, Ben. And he asked the Impact champion, Rich Swann, if he's seen the Motor City Machine Gun. Swan tells him that he hasn't and that he needs to calm down. Machine Gun is not too happy. Listen, I'm going to say something, and I need your feedback on this, man.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 weeks, I've seen Moose, and we're going to talk about Moose right now, this next segment. As Moose comes in the ring, 6'6", 300 pounds.
6 foot. He's bigger than 6'6". He's
fucking whatever. 6'8", 300 plus pounds with that fucking nice suit, holding that TNA world champion on the white strap. Just really looks good. And then you see Rich Swann backstage, who he's with the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Machine Guns are bigger than him. And he's your Impact champion. There's something that doesn't connect with me there. And I hate to say this because I think Rich Swann should be the face of the X division, or get an amazing partner and just run through the tag team division. I love Rich Swann. Don't get me wrong. But as your Impact champion right now, I don't think he's the guy. I mean, right now, as an AEW fan, I would love to know what AEW fans think. Do you look at Rich Swann and you kind of like giggle, like that's your champion? I mean, Kenny Omega looks like fucking Kevin Nash next to the guy. What do you think?
I think if Shawn Michaels and Rey Mysterio can be champ, so can Rich Swann. You know, it's about how the circumstance of retaining the titles and overcoming as the underdog, or having maybe putting Moose with him as Kevin Nash. You know what I mean? Are they stronger together? There's opportunity there, but if you have those questions and you're asking it, that's a valid, audience feedback of it. He's not believable to me not because of he's terrible in the ring, or if size is an issue, then you have to work the underdog, or you have to be the heel that has a buffer to ensure that you are AJ Styles and Big Ninja. But Big Ninja hasn't done shit. Yeah. And they fucking, that's a problem. They've jumped the shark on that, on him not touching somebody. Not being the intimidating force. Like, there should always be a spot where somebody's going to go at AJ, and AJ can run and hide behind him and look out for the side, and Big Ninja's like, nah, B. Like, so they're not playing the game the right way. If they were entertaining you and making you believe that Swan is a fucking chicken shit heel, or a dude who just slipped over because of circumstances, or a David and Goliath beater where he gets heat on him 90% of the match and something happens that lets him slip over, then it might be more believable in your mind. So I think it's not anybody can be champ, Ray. It's about the story.
Then maybe it's not his stature, because you got a guy. Now, I know people like to shit on Johnny Gargano for his size or anything like that, but I was reviewing NXT, and people were like, how could he be a heel? Well, I watched NXT for quite some time, and I think Johnny Gargano is a fantastic heel. His character makes him bigger than what he is. And Rich Swann, I'm not saying he doesn't have, there's just something for me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my personal taste. It's not connecting. I don't see world champ. Like, you remember we were talking last time, like, about Deonna Purrazzo, and then you have like a Taya Valkyrie, but then you have, what's Deonna's tag team partner?
Her personal assistant, Kimberly.
So you see those three women. Let's put Kimberly next to Deonna Purrazzo. Again, Kimberly, good worker. Now you see Deonna Purrazzo in the ring. She looks like a champion. Or Taya Valkyrie looks like a champion. Then you have Kimberly, who don't look like a champion. They could put the belt on her.
She's a buffer. She's a buffer, Ray.
And that's what Swann, I believe, is. I know it's not going over with you, but I'm telling you, like, he's that guy.
The buffer is what you're missing. Swan wrestling is there. Swan can wrestle, so it's about the emotional connection and how they're not setting it up the right way for you.
I don't think at this time I want to say, yes, I gotta see Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann. Now, I can say, as we have Moose in the ring calling out Willie Mack, I want to see Moose. Dude, can you imagine Moose versus Kenny Omega at one of these pay-per-views?
Oh, yeah, that's where I think they should go. Like, I think it should be Omega. So at the end, it should be Omega goes over on Swan, even though they're going to do some weird 6-man shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it should be Omega goes over on Swan, and to show that the AEW title is superior, even on Impact. Like, they should put their champ under, and right after that, that's when Moose takes out fucking Omega, to show that an Impact guy is fucking bigger, badder, and stronger. And then you have Moose versus Omega on Impact.
I'm gonna agree with Strangler Sally in that I think Swan should keep the face shaven. I think he looked better, clean cut.
I agree. Yeah, he needs to be a clean cut babyface. I love that you call Strangers Alley Stranger.
I'm thinking about Strangler Steve. By the way, Strangler, big shout out to Strangler Steve, who came to New York City and didn't come to see me.
Oh man, killed it. But it was good to see the Wednesday locker room get together. We put that over. Just awesome. Good to see you and Billy Ray get together, man. Good shit.
So Billy Ray comes to the building I work in, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Walking around New York City with that fucking IWGP World Heavyweight Championship over his shoulder.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, that's a fucking replica for sure, because I've held the real one, and it weighs as much as 4 or 5 belts put together, bro.
AJ, when I interviewed AJ Styles, he at that time was the IWGP champion, and he came on the camera and he's like, let me just pull this up, and he threw the thing over his shoulder. You could see him laboring. He's like, he hated walking around with that belt.
Dude, absolutely. He let everybody in the locker room hold it, not to be a mark, but to show you, like, you've held titles before. Fuck that. This thing's made out of lead or some shit. Fucking, Beskar, and it weighs. It's so fucking heavy, man. Like, if you say, that's the thing. If you let the locker room hold that belt, or even fans during, and they see how heavy it is. If you are in the main event and you go over with a belt shot after people held that belt, it's the most believable fucking finish that there is, because that belt is like holding a 45-pound plate.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, listen, speaking about believable, man, Ben, what a promo. What a promo by Moose. He gets in that ring. Dude, he gets in that ring. He calls out Willie. Willie Mack does reply, by the way. He calls out Willie Mack. Willie Mack replies. And they're going to have, I can't wait to see how they book this match, because this could be a damn good match. See, Willie Mack is not super tall, but he's strong. Like, he's a thick dude. Mm-hmm. And I love the way he moves in the ring. And here's funny. There's something funny. I connect with Willie Mack. I love when he cuts a promo. It's just like it's just him talking. I could see Willie Mack talking in real life, being upset and talking to somebody, cutting a promo in real life, or just talking to somebody, like being in an argument and speaking that way.
He was, but it was still wrestling to me. And Moose looked great, right, and he looks better than he ever has. The faded beard, all that shit, looks like a top star. And even his promo afterwards popped me, because he was shoot hot that some indie guy ripped his fucking $200 shirt. So that made me laugh. He's like, I know you want to get a spot as security, whether you're an independent wrestler, but you can't be out here ripping my shirt.
Fantastic.
He was legit hot, bro. But Willie Mack is definitely on that most improved player list, dude, where he started emoting a lot more, and this did seem real, but then he ran right through those security guys. They let him go through like Moses fucking part in the sea, and it was like, we needed more struggle there, and Willie could have fired up on him and bumped a couple of them before he got to him. But this still felt like wrestling to me. I watched World Star to unwind. Here's a chance where you got 2 cool-ass black guys. Let them be the cool-ass black guys and talk shit like they really would in the street. And even if you bleep it out, come on, motherfucker, I'll fuck you up right now. Like, right, over the top. Like, let's let these 2 guys really make it real, because they could right here.
But here's the thing with Moose. I think his character is extremely complex. And what am I talking about? Well, he is absolutely delusional. He's delusional. He believes he is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So I think he's playing the role of what a champion in wrestling is supposed to talk like. Does that make sense?
He's playing Black Nick Aldis.
Yes. Beautiful. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
And it's fucking wonderful. It's Willie Mack's job to pull ghetto moose out of him to try and fucking, you know what I mean? So he has to break that way too. I agree. There's so many awesome multifaceted layers. We saw him wearing the douchebag clothes and shit like that to get heat. Now he's wearing booted and suited and looking fucking like $1 million, ready for Hollywood. He can be the fucking macho man style dude with those sequins coming to the ring, you know, like but at the end of the day, yeah, he's a blue chip athlete that can be coached any way possible, from college football to NFL to pro wrestling. And he's got the one thing you can't teach, which is size. you know, like that's he's got that, and he works it the right way. So now his promos have improved. He's slowed down to even overcome his speech impediment, and which is fucking phenomenal. Yeah. He's worked around. He's taken his weaknesses and made strategies and strengths in how he works around them. So I think that this is the opportunity to do something very real between these two guys. And I look forward to seeing where it goes, man.
Who's a big boy Gimmick Jones in WWE that cuts a promo? Like
Keith Lee. Yeah. The William Shatner gimmick.
So it's Keith Lee. So he's doing what he's doing what I think Keith Lee is trying to do.
Right. But Moose is doing it for a different reason. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about reaching out, to be honest with you, to WWE this week, just to go see if they want me for 4-6 weeks to go down to NXT to help him, because it'll take that amount. But Keith Lee has money written all over him. But what he's trying to do, he doesn't know who he is and what his voice is. And again, that's a very Alicia Edwards type thing. First 3-4 years of Alicia we saw, we're like, yeah. And Keith Lee, he's got the size you can't teach, but he's still a baby with diapers on when it comes to being presentable and articulate. Sure, he can speak wonderfully, but his delivery and timing is hurting the credibility of everything else. So let's really polish that up. I'm going to reach out, I think.
Yeah, man, because that dude, like you said, when you say money written all over him, that guy.
I mean, you saw it at Royal Rumble last year, just in the visual alone. But the problem is this false positive of NXT with planted fans and their chants wanting to get themselves over that made him into this name star. I mean, obviously you look at him, you can see the guy's got money on him, but once it's time for him to tread water on his own as a main eventer on Raw, you can't overexpose him. You see that he's not ready. And then now they feel some kind of different way about him because you didn't protect his flaws the right way. You know what I mean? While you're training him to be able to shine in that, it was too much, too fast again.
Trust me, I know exactly what you mean. And but you know, let's talk about two people on this roster right now. Who I think their character work is top notch. Their promos, in my opinion, are pretty much top notch. We're talking about a guy by the name of Chris Bay, as he speaks to Rahit Raju backstage. And Man, Ben, I am so freaking upset. I'm so hot about this whole bullshit with Manic or whatever the hell he wants to call his name. But we'll get into that later on. But there is a plan moving forward that Chris Bay has. I'm going to now do this podcast the way that Keith Lee would do it. Could you imagine anybody talking that way? Like, anyway. So Rahit Raju backs up, he says, all right, he's going to go with the whole, we'll get into the big plan by Chris Bay. But before we do that, this is the main event, Ben. Oh, no, wait. I think they try to be the main event. Who am I talking about? Tony Khan? Another paid advertisement. Ben, was this one better than last week's?
It's the same one. They just recut it.
It wasn't the same one.
Well, they weren't. It wasn't like they didn't go, here's week 2, roll tape. And they used stuff from the first one in that one. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing.
I think Tim, if you looked at Tony Khan's hands, he still had the deodorant stains from sticking them in his armpits from last week.
What are you going to do?
Oh, Jesus Christ. So let's fast. I'm not even going to give that any time. Oh, let's talk about this. And let's talk about this as a whole, because they broke up these segments all through the show. Let's talk about Eric Young and the newly transformed Cody Deaner. I'm I'm gonna let you roll with this. Break it down for the people that didn't, and I'll give you my opinion. But I thought this was fan-fucking-tastic, bro.
Yeah. So we're back to some really great cinematic stuff from Impact that we've seen since the Broken Universe set it off. We've seen it with Eddie, and we've seen it with a bunch of other characters as well, Rosemary and whatnot, Wrestle House. But this is very movie believable, not trying to be tongue in cheek and do something stylized. And it's Eric Young reconditioning Cody Deaner, who was his young boy back in the day, and Driver. And it's kind of Oz-esque. They're in some weird prison, and he's got him handcuffed to an interrogation table, which is what I wanted for the Tommy Dreamer scenes, but instead we're getting it here, but the just really good. And then they have the big man enforcer, TA Magnum 2, kind of like, just as a weird shirtless, I'm going to rape you in jail presence. I don't know. There's some weird, like, homoerotic undertones of, like, are these guys in jail? Like, and this is a new Sons of Anarchy Oz type, not white power cult, but, like, it's something of that dark HBO drama. It has that feeling to it. So, and then they poured water over Deaner's head to baptize him, to kind of be reborn again, showing that we're going to go a new way with it. Deaner opens his eyes, very crystal blue eyes, and like the way it was shot and the lighting, and then he's not handcuffed to the table anymore. So he's broken free of the constraints that have bound him, which would be a Southern redneck character, even though he's in Canada, a Canadian redneck, I guess, get her done type shit. And now he can go on and be maybe a more hardcore Sons of Anarchy, roll up and shoot him with a 45 type fucking character. So it was a pretty interesting transition. Not that Cody Deaner was a low stakes character, but he kind of was. And you can do a lot with that Trailer Park Boys world that they did in their own type stuff. I thought they did a great job with that. But this was a very good transition throughout the show to show 3 different clips of this stylized and cinematic, really better than anything that was on WWE and AEW this week, to be honest with you.
Ben, what are the chances that they bring back the Aces and Eights?
A lot of people were saying that. I wouldn't call it that. I'd do something new. You know what I mean? There's why rehash some shit that didn't work. I'm always weary of that type of stuff. But
I don't know. People like to shit on the Aces and Eights a lot. I don't think they were that horrible, dude.
I get the idea, but it wasn't executed the right way.
Right.
So why go back and try and do that? If we got something that we can do new and get it over instead of rebooting the other shit, and that was like, because what Aces and Eights, what is it really? It's a fucking Sons of Anarchy knockoff. Let's do something that's a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and make it our own type of thing.
Fuck, dude, my hot Asian landlord is not putting the heat on today. I don't know why. It's fucking cold as shit. Freezing in my apartment. Anyway, this was so I'm gonna give you my quick breakdown because we're gonna run through the rest of the show. We're almost done, dude. This was fantastic. I agree with you. Yeah, the whole like where you had the big hoss, opening the jail cell. He's coming in to don't drop the soap.
Yeah,
that type of shit. It was cool, man. And Cody Deaner. So we've been putting over him as a character for quite some time, and this has the opportunity to really be something special, I think, for this company.
I'm just wondering who the baby face is they got to go at. They got to take out Cousin Jake. They're going to have to take out Rhino, because Dreamer's setting it up to be
right.
That, you know what I mean? So they'll have to go over on those guys.
Well, let's think about this then. Who are some of the guys that Eric Young has really fucking taken out? Is it going to be Rich Swann?
Swann, Eddie Edwards. That's who I'd roll over because right now Eddie's just playing the good husband to like Alicia, you know what I mean? And whatnot. And in the end, you may need the devil, to face Eric Young. I think it might go heel. I think you let I was thinking with all this weird like prison rape shit or whatever that's kind of inferred in this, and what if they call them D Block from now on? You don't want to go to D Block where you get fucking raped by a big Magnum TA and fucking Cody Deaner, and they just call them D Block.
You don't want. I don't think we want to go
all the D you can handle.
No.
But what if they had to get like a Sami Callihan to undo some shit here? You know what I mean? And bring back, even though they just let him go, the Chris brothers and a Madman Fulton and a fucking, and Reno Scum to have like a fucking jailhouse down and dirty fucking orgy. I mean, a fucking throwdown in there.
Hold on. Colin is listening right now. He got super excited.
No, I mean, a down and dirty throwdown like it'd be in the prison yard. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling. I think that's what we should be building to.
Why are we not turning Impact Wrestling into a version of Oz, like a modern version?
That's what I think we're doing here, bro.
Bro.
By the way, go to in the shower.
That's a song.
You remember that? That's how Oz would open.
Oh yeah.
Carve a Nazi symbol in your ass.
Let me tell you something, bro. The one episode of Oz is when I forgot his name. He got his daughter's finger sent to him.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! That's the ultimate.
That guy is the fucking. Even though the dude in the chair is the narrator, I can't think of the actor's name, but he was the one who got the swastika carved in his ass. He's the one who goes to jail first. He's the one who the story is really based off of his fucking downfall into madness based off of making a stupid decision.
Well, this was a fantastic segment, and I cannot wait to see the evolution of Cody Deaner. I want to see what he looks like. I want to see what he talks like. I want to see, will his work in the ring change?
Oh yeah, he's got to be a vicious motherfucker, dude.
Right, and he has that. Remember how I always say my old thing? He looks like he'll fight you for a ham sandwich in an alley. That's him, dude.
His punches look awesome too. It's going to be great heat.
Yeah. Well, speaking of great, we get a match. We get Chris Bay. Okay, Chris Bay with the true Impact Wrestling X Division champion, Rohit Raju, in his corner, versus Manic. And dude, let me tell you something. I'm pissed off.
Okay,
I'm pissed off. This happened back in the day in the WWE. Do you remember when Hulk Hogan got suspended? And then he obviously comes back with the fucking mask. Hey, brother, I'm Mr. America, dude. Would you stop? We all know Manic is TJP. We all know Suicide is TJP, even though last week he was not Strangler Steve, but he was
Crazy Steve.
Yeah, that guy. But we know it's him. How is it possible, Ben, that Impact Wrestling management could screw over our boy Rohit Raju, okay, who he already gave this dude like 25,000 fucking chances at winning that title, and he has to keep pulling this shit out of his ass. It is unbelievably unprofessional. It's ridiculous. It's a travesty, and I think they have something against Rohit.
Well, it could be. That could be one way.
It is fact. I'm so upset about this.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a big thing of, like, I get the Manic thing why they're doing it, because I did the same thing in reverse with Electrico in OVW. So this is very Tony Man was Electrico was Tony Man, but and people knew it, but it worked. I didn't like the finish on the match on the pay-per-view. To me, it felt like they'd been working TJP's style, or excuse me, they'd been working Rohit's style of simple heel stuff and simple wrestling for like the weeks leading up to it. That's where Rohit shines. And not that Rohit can't do the other style, but he stands out because he doesn't do the other style. And because TJP was going over, I think he let TJP call a lot more of this match than what he should, or Manic. But really, if TJP is going over, that means Rohit should have taken 90% of the match, because TJP is going to win in the end anyway.
You're talking about
on the pay-per-view, man. whatever. But instead, it was a get your shit in fest, and the finish didn't mean nearly as much. What was really great and why I like Rohit losing, and I think it was the right decision to put TJP Manic over there. I just didn't like the way it was done in ring and business wise. But the whole thing is you want to see Rohit Raju react. That's where he's at his best. His wrestling is simple and heel. It works and is effective. Keep it at that level. When he loses, his reaction is what's essential. So I don't mind Rohit losing because we get more of frustration from his character, which drives him to do more heel shit to get it back. So he'll shine through. I just hope that they don't do these overbooked things, because that kind of hurt the story that they had been telling in such a great way. The wrestling was overdone on Saturday. Here, I didn't mind it at all.
You know, I feel bad for Rohit, man.
Why? He's on TV. He was a fucking champ. He's shining brighter than he ever has. He made it through the fucking Desi Hit Squad. He made it through the reboot of the fucking Indian gimmick. He made it through the Cousins coming in. And at the end of the day, it's not Gama and them. It's Rohit Raju is the last man standing, because he fucking is he's the exact kind of guy you want on your roster who will say yes to any idea and get you max value out of it. When it's time, he killed it.
Ben.
Yeah.
Have you ever lost a love?
Have I ever lost a love?
Have you ever lost something that you loved? A person that you loved? Have you not gone on Rohit Raju's social media?
Oh, he's sad about it. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, there's a picture. He has a picture. It's a side-by-side picture. One with his beautiful Impact Wrestling Championship belt strapped into his car with a seat belt. And then right next to it, an empty seat. This is why I feel bad for Rohit.
Okay. Well, then exactly. Then you want him to win it back even more, don't you?
Of course I do. I think he's earned that right, you know, to get a rematch against this fraud of a guy in a mask. Unbelievable. Yeah. But anyway, I
think old Athers should wear a mask from now on too.
I think everybody should wear a mask except for us. But anyway, not Dr. Ted. He's very handsome. But this was a solid match. You know, we got again, and the whole thing is that Chris Bay is playing both these boys. So Chris Bay gets what's his name, Rohit, to get so hot that he gets disqualified, that he disqualifies what do you call it? Manic gets disqualified, and Chris Bay goes over. So now Chris Bay got a win, a non-title win over the X Division champion. What does that do? Whenever you win a non-title match, what does it do? Put you your number one contender, right? Or you're a contender for that title. Is that correct?
It could. I mean, if you lost it, you still have probably the number one contender shot. But if you're up and rising and keeping score AEW wise, who knows which way they go to make you a contender. But that's what the great story of wrestling is. Now we come to a crossroads with the guy going, I'm going to exercise my clause. The other guy goes, well, I've been on the win streak, so I'm number one contender. Well, fuck you. No, fuck you. Okay, you guys fight, and whoever wins that goes. Now, whoever goes over in that could be Manic's choice by causing the finish. They could go over clean and then go face Manic, and then the guy is disgruntled and come in and fuck him over, so he loses. So then he gets the shot against Manic. He's about to go over, and he fucks him over because he fucked over from his shot. Manic stays on top. Like, that's all the heel little. Right there is 6 weeks of TV, right?
It's gonna end up a three-way dance between these guys for that title, and I hope they put the belt. Or I hope Rohit.
Well, it'll end up on the cables.
Oh, you think they're doing the what is it called?
Why wouldn't you build that? You make those guys fight. Do the fuck over. One guy goes to that. Do the fuck over again. Other guy's turn. Fuck him over. This is not getting settled. Manic goes over. How are we going to do it? Scott D'Amore, we're bringing it back out, and we're going Ultimate X. That's the build.
Never bring.
Then you have Rohit go back over at Ultimate X.
Impact Wrestling, never bring back the fucking gimmick with the red cage where you have to climb out of the cage through that little hole on the top. That was fucking terrible. But anyway, neither here nor there. Let's speed through this. We have Josh Alexander backstage. He's pacing back and forth. Ethan Page says, "We are here for you. He apologized for what happened over. This team has been together too long. Ethan Page. He wants his friend to know in Josh Alexander that we are there for him. He's like, what? We? Anyway, that was weird. Well, we move on, Ben. We move on.
Yeah, I'm not like even later when he comes out as Karate Man, I thought that was a bad choice. I mean, like let's say like if he's on his way out, do business on the way out. Let's not do wrestle crap because we had the big scenes with AEW and the Good Brothers, and now we're doing this type of stuff with Ethan Page. I don't understand why they want to get that over. Not that Ethan can't get it over, but he was a higher stakes character, and now this type of stuff and having him lose the Hornswoggle is strange to me, dude.
It is weird.
Yeah,
unless
this could be the punishment of wrestling of not re-signing your contract, bro.
Or is it possible that he didn't resign his contract and he maybe said the wrong thing, refused to look bad, and they're like, "Oh, you want to refuse to look bad? Well, now you're gonna look really bad. You're gonna be a karate guy with some underwear, tight underwear."
They wouldn't say it that yes is the answer, but the way it would be like, I'm gonna exercise my option, or I want. Let's just hypothetical. Say he wants 50 grand more than he made last year. He wants the guaranteed bookings and da. But they can't offer it. And he goes, well, I've raised my acumen here. I'm going to go see what else I can get otherwhere. Oh, okay. You're not going to resign? Yeah, but you have 10 dates left on with this? Yep. I'll do whatever you guys want. Okay. All right, dude. We appreciate you. Thank you. But then they're like, he's not going to resign. Then we'll just fucking make him look soft. And I don't understand that because that's something I do understand it because sometimes they do it just for fun. But Ethan Page to me has never been a guy that rubs any promoter the wrong way and is fucking hard to handle backstage. So to do wrestle crap with him on the way out, I don't think's his choice, but he also knows that he's going to get fucked with. And when he does, he's going to go, sure, I'll do fucking whatever. More camera time, the better. The worst, if they didn't like you and they want to bury you, the worst thing they're going to do is take you off TV. Like if you're on camera, that's your opportunity to fuck it up and they can make you look stupid. But if you're a great worker, you can get anything over. You can get anything over. So, but this to me hurt their overall business, especially if he's leaving to have him come in here. Because I was actually looking forward, even in the pre-tape that comes in a little bit of having Josh Alexander possibly team with Brian Myers. I thought, because we talked about this last week, well, is he going to go on search for a tag partner? Okay. And those two guys seem semi-impressed to me. I thought maybe we get them together and have a good get-over match and we're on the way, but instead they were at odds. So it's fine. That was just a choice.
I mean, Brian Myers is the most professional wrestler. And
looks great. Gear looks great. New graphics look great.
I don't like the colors in that gear.
I do. I mean, I think he's got a lot of different ones, and I like that he rips off the New York Mets style. And
would you stop?
He does the Jets. I mean, the guy likes way underdog bullshit teams. So let's play to that. You
know what, Ben? You out of everything you said, I would agree with you 100%. Those are bullshit teams, the Jets and the Mets.
Sure, but that doesn't mean people don't love them.
People love them
enough to get that they haven't gone out of business yet.
Well. Hopefully they will soon. I hate the Mets and the Jets.
Why? They're not a threat. Why do you hate them if they're a fucking rib? Like,
it's their fans. Just like the AEW fans. I don't necessarily hate AEW, but the fans make it like you want to fucking strangle somebody.
You fucking see the short bus on the way to school and go, I fucking hate all those kids on that bus.
Well, yes, yes, I have.
I think the problem might be with you then, buddy. It might not be with them.
Maybe. I wasn't sure. Why is the bus supposed to
low IQ handicap people? I fucking hate you.
When you say short bus, what do you mean? Because my bus wasn't too long.
No, exactly. That's probably why you hate it so much.
We gotta talk off air. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. We got Kenny Omega backstage calling Rich Swann. We're gonna speed through this. Rich Swann, Rich the bitch, which is very well done, I guess. Whatever. All right, so we have the knockouts. Tag team finals. We have Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary versus Kiera.
Like that,
huh?
I like that you say Taya Valkyrie.
I like her. I know it's Valkyrie or whatever, but I like the way her name sounds that way. Taya Valkyrie.
They're both. Yeah, it's, you know what the Valkyrie is or no?
No, what is it?
It's a German folklore goddess, Flight of the Valkyries.
Oh yes. Interesting.
They would fly in and they would like women warriors and fucking annihilate everyone.
I wonder if that's the way she wants her name to be said, but neither here nor there. Versus Rosemary. And I'm sorry, Jesus Christ. Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary versus Kiera Hogan and Sasha Steeles. Dude.
Sasha Steeles. Yeah, but and Tasha Steeles working hard in the gym, new gear to match
Mm-hmm. I was looking at her and she's just like leaning over the rope flexing. I'm like, wow, this girl's in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, since she's joined Impact, dude, you can see she's just been in the gym fucking going hard, probably heavyweights, light reps, you know, and in great shape, dude. And what she had been wearing was kind of covering up her body where her money is in her arms and her shoulders, bro. You see her, you're like, damn, I wouldn't want to take a fucking hook from her. Believe that.
No.
But I thought the right business was done here. We even though we have the run-in and Rosemary gets taken out, leaving Taya by herself because both of them are pretty established singles wrestlers with their outside business, that a tag team who is established as a tag team, being Tasha and Kiera, should be able to go over on the singles wrestler, even if they're over, especially after the run-in. So I think they marginalized the threat and the heels went over in the right way. And it's about a tag team tournament. So now you're moving into, and how I'd want to book it is have my two made tag teams who are going to be our first official champs be not mismatched. So next week it's Trish Parker and Jazz going against Havoc and Nevaeh. And I expect Havoc and Nevaeh to go over because the main event I would book would be them versus Kiera and Tasha. And it was very well done. I think all these women are better than 95% of the women in wrestling. Take out Serena and a couple others, you know, and they did a great job here. So simple and a good tournament advancement. And then we get a little scene right after that continues the wrestle crap with, Kiera questioning Tasha about the money from the wedding still. So the wedding detail are still getting tied in. She shows her fanny pack. There's nothing in it. In comes Swinger as we do this with a pack to put them over. Oh, steals the show right here. Does some hilarious shit about him and Buddy Rose, daddy working back in the day, and pops me fucking huge. The girls don't sell for it and take his beer and leave. He checks out their fanny pack. He's like, he wants a fanny pack gimmick. Go ahead.
He jumps in. He's like, hey, what? Look at this dead at kayfabe compartment. So
yeah, kayfabe compiz, Briz.
I love the whole what's going on, Brizzods. You know, he calls them.
Brizzods. He calls them the Brizzods are in his house because that's a rib on what's her name who left. Kylie Ray, because they were the ones bitching that he was saying Rizats. Mm-hmm. So now he's saying Brizzods. It's change it, same intention. But
what was the line of the night when he pulls out the money?
The kayfabe compartment. What did he say?
Tonight was a good house. It was a good house.
The house is not bad. It's a good house. So big fat stack of cash. He finds it in the kayfabe compartment, and Swingman's up on the Carney payday, bro. Like, so good, so perfect, and like really tied it in. Now we can go forward knowing that he has it, because all that has to happen is Hernandez watches the fucking scene, Falaba watches the scene, and then next week it's the person, and then the girls watch the scene and know that now everyone's got to try and get their hands on the money, and Swinger's on the run with the fucking kayfabe cash roll, or he spent it all on gimmicks or something along those lines, and he's going to turn around and flip it for more merch to the boys or some shit along that. So there's tons of fun stuff you can do here. Swinger totally stole the show with this scene. And it was just those little great wrestle crap moments that continue a story that's been going on since May. We're still, the money roll is, even as small as it is, and as much as they've done to really not protect Johnny Bravo coming out of the thing. They left so much on the table with the brilliance of Johnny Bravo, but that could be because he's in Canada and it might be tough to get him here to do stuff. So I can see why they might have. There's always extenuating circumstances that people don't know about. But at least this keeps it going. And it really gave not just a good laugh, but that feeling of satisfaction for the week in, week out viewer of, oh, they're still going with the good little details. Let's fucking keep having fun with it, man. So bravo in that scene work. I love that shit, bro.
Dude, you know, how many storylines, you know, in the past, you know, you say Impact's going to impact. How many storylines did they start, stop? And WWE does it all the time. Start, stop. They're continuing this. They're building off of a story. It's like a story tree. And then they're branches, and the branches have little branches, and the branches give off fruit.
But it all relates back to the main id in some way of what we started to grow, right?
Loving this.
It's great. I love that shit too, because it stands on its own. But the reality of that, when we say wrestling psychology, whether it's in ring or how you're working the crowd, that's the perfect example of the waiting to exhale. The money, we thought the shit was dropped. We thought they were like, but nope, here it comes back around, and it's just a little bit, and they edited it at the high point, and now we're excited to see where this is going to lead down the road.
So we get Brian Myers. Jesus Christ. So we get Brian Myers versus Josh Alexander. This was a solid match, dude. And then Karate Man shows up, and, you know, disqualification. Brian Myers goes over. Karate Man comes in with some really tight underwear with the fucking headband gimmick, doing the old school Karate Man poses and shit like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I didn't understand this. I agree. I don't think it does anything. Oh man, this is just bad, dude.
Too bad. I think he's going to go to NXT and they're going to reinvent him completely anyway, bro. And it's Ethan Page. If he's given the opportunity, he's going to get it over. He's just got charisma that comes through the camera.
Well, I got to tell you, man, I didn't feel too comfortable looking at him in those BVDs, but neither here nor there. I wasn't excited like Colin probably was. We fast forward. We finish. All right, so we have AC Romero, you know, sticking up for his partner Larry D, and basically, you know, he's saying that, you know, telling Tommy Dreamer that he was framed. Like, what do you think they're going with this? Do you think he was framed? Because he did admit that his alter ego shot Johnny Bravo, but technically, and I was thinking about this over the last couple of weeks, isn't Rosemary really the culprit? Because Rosemary's the one who kind of put the magic gimmick in his whatever he's eating.
I don't think that's a good thing. Well, here's what we have now. Another part of the story. What should we have? If we had fucking Tommy Dreamer as a detective, we need to have Gumshoe Detective AC Baby on the fucking scene, like trying to find clues with the big fucking, you know, monocle and shit like that, right? So AC could fucking do a bunch of good little of scene work stuff here, trying to get more information. But we know who did it, like kind of without doing. Even when they put it on Larry D, we watched the wedding, we saw who was in there, but where did the shot come from?
It came from the stage.
The stage. Larry D was in the ring. They were in the ring there. So right. And we fucking haven't followed up. Even in the interrogations, Dreamer didn't do this. This is the stuff that scene work wise was left on the table. Maybe this is where AC is going to pick it up, and they either wrote it that way or they go, fuck, we forgot to do this. How can we cover it? We'll have AC do something. So they never interviewed Reno Scum. They never interviewed Hernandez. And that's who was looking for the money. And when it got stooged off, that Fala had told them that fucking Johnny Bravo had taken it. That's why they did the shooting at the fucking wedding. But really, Fala had the money, and then the girls had taken it off of him. That's why the girls had it in the kayfabe compartment. So the shell game of who has what and who done what we haven't really played it out yet, because even from a forensics way, what if we get AC with the fucking board and he's got the pointer and he's got everything laid out, or he's got a fucking fake ring and everybody's little action figures in there, and he's like, there's no way the shot could have come here, and we do the whole JFK trajectory and it came from the grassy knoll but up on the, all that kind of shit can still be played out, and maybe it's up to AC to do it.
Is it possible? So you gave me an idea. You had to have Hernandez involved, right? Because they want the money. What if for a couple of shows they bring back somebody that is synonymous with Hernandez? Homicide?
Maybe, but I think they already had Reno Scum tied to him, so you already got the hitters. You know what I mean? You already got the dudes who, and maybe Reno Scum pulled the trigger, but they didn't give the order. You know what I mean? And it relates back to that. So in the end, it's going to be Hernandez. But what's the payoff with that? It's just going to be a whodunit. You know what I mean? And then Hernandez versus Johnny Bravo. I'd rather get shot.
Hey, Johnny can go, dude.
To the floor. Fuck that.
Johnny Bravo can go. By the way, I really would love to get Johnny Swinger on this platform.
Oh, we'll have that on. I can get Johnny Swinger on.
I'm talking about Johnny Swinger Daddy.
Yeah, no, Swingman was on last time.
I want to get Swingman on this. I want to talk to Swingman about it.
Absolutely, dude.
He's legit one of my. It's so funny. Impact Wrestling. We're getting into the main event right now. Impact Wrestling always has that one character that just steals the show. No matter, for the last couple of years, whether it was Matt Hardy, you know what I'm saying, whether it was Ethan Carter III, they always have that one special thing. And as much as funny as you think it may be, man, I think Johnny Swinger, man, has found it's a resurgence.
What are you talking about here? It's not about Johnny Swinger. It's not about fucking EC3, and it's not about Matt Hardy. What is it about?
Well, you tell me.
What do they all have?
Head. No?
Character,
of course. I know that.
And it doesn't mean shit.
And it don't get no better than that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/Rip Rogers. Get yourself a t-shirt. New shirt coming soon. Don't get no better than that. A lot of new
shirts. We got to get fucking graphics for Hamin Media Group Pro Wrestling Tees going. That's all approved. We just got to upload graphics. We got new Rip shirts we got to get done. Branding for Stevie Ray. There's a lot of shit to do this week, boy.
Group. See, you don't need the whole gimmick board there. Anyway, Ben Hamin, it is time for the main event of the evening. I think we've covered this whole show in great detail. It is the Machine Gun, Carl Anderson, versus former Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion Chris Sabin, along with his tag team partner Alex Shelley. And this was a match. But at the end of the night, we have Carl Anderson who goes over Ben Hamin. But this match was important, but it wasn't the match that was the most important thing here. First, break down this match, Ben. Tell me what you didn't like about this match, and then we'll talk about the real main event backstage.
Oh, okay. It was Machine Guns versus sorry again.
No, so we got Carl Anderson. All right, so check this out.
Carl Anderson versus Machine Guns.
Sabin, no, it's Sabin versus Carl Anderson.
Right.
One-on-one.
Get your shit. Oh, there's only one Machine Gun in fucking Impact shit. Yeah. It's setting up for what they want it to be, which is Bullet Club and who knows, maybe Young Bucks, are going to face Motor City Machine Guns. That's the dream booking at the end of the day. But on the grounds at Impact, this is setting up with the beatdown afterwards to have the Good Brothers reunited with Kenny Omega, and the Motor City Machine Guns are going to tag with who was coming? Fucking all night long. Swan. So they're setting up for a shitty six in the reunion of Bullet Club, and they were getting the original Briz Cliz Biz type shit back over again. But I don't know, man. I like I say, Shelley and the Motor City Machine Guns have accomplished more than I have, but this no sell spot fest style to me, I can't remember one thing from the match where I'm just like, yeah, that was the way and that made sense. You know what I mean?
The whole night was littered with Kenny Omega getting into the head of Machine Gun Carl Anderson. Basically, like, dude, you're better than these guys. That's basically, what he was saying. And it got to a point that Machine Gun found himself in a position where he feel like, he felt like he could lose this match. Now with Kenny backstage, now with Kenny watching. So he cheats. He pulls the tights. And then for some reason, you get Rich Swann, who doesn't want to mind his business. He comes out, asking, Machine Gun, hey, dude, why did you cheat? Why did you have to cheat? Why are you cheating? And all of a sudden, backstage, okay, now I don't know who the heel and the babyface was here, but Machine Gun is just there talking. All of a sudden, he gets jumped by 3 guys. I'm just saying. And then the babyface comes in. Wink, wink. The babyface comes in. The big Luke Gallows out of nowhere to save the day. It was like a role reversal thing.
Well, it was the out of nowhere. You didn't know they were there, and they had the backup. So that was kind of weird. Because why wouldn't you just have them together in the bus together the whole time if he was there, right? It would have even been better if you would have had Good Brothers with them and they all could rib together in kind of the way that they do on their own pay-per-views, and then have Gallows at ringside and do the heel shit that way and have them go over clean and leave the babies laying in the ring instead of doing it in the back that way. So they could have got the business over, but to do Gallows as a surprise, that could be one of 50 reasons. Maybe he wasn't there the days they shot the other stuff and they needed to do it that way. There's always, it's not just like, oh, they fucked up the idea. There's always 40 logistical problems that you're dealing with as a booker promoter. And then the creative has to switch in order to be able to fucking deal with it to tell the story. So I'm sure there's a whirlwind of things that I'm not taking into consideration, but I thought it worked because at the end, the last thing you're going to remember, fuck the match, is the beatdown and the character of them all standing there with Bullet Club finally back together in some weird indie way that has never been accomplished since AJ kind of joined them in WWE. And, so we'll see.
Listen, for those who didn't see it, Kenny Omega, not Kenny Omega, but Luke Gallows was cleaning house, and then Rich Swann comes in with a super kick backstage, and out of nowhere, Kenny Omega has the whole gimmick, the floor is wet gimmick that you put on the floor, the big plastic thing. Let me explain something to you guys. I use those things at work. Those things are heavy. They're not like light little pieces of plastic. He folds that son bitch right over the head with that thing.
Yeah.
Knocks him clean out. Yes, spin. They go over. They're talking about Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And we get a match at Hard to Kill, which is coming up Saturday, January 16th. That's the first pay-per-view of the new year. It's going to be Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns. So we're all set, Ben. We're all set for this continuation of AEW and Impact. Hopefully moving forward now, we can get some more progression with the storylines as they start taping and acclimating the taping to the whole storyline of AEW's invasion of Impact or vice versa.
It's big crossover, and this is what I want to say. So it's good storyline. It has numbers up, it has people interested, and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, Swinger segment in a 7-month storyline was the biggest pop on the fucking show. You know what I mean? For people who have been watching and are with it. Not that this stuff wasn't cool and didn't work at the end. It did. I think it worked a lot better than last week. This week's Impact show incorporated AEW throughout the show way better than they did in the week before. Unfortunately, numbers were at about 75% of what they were from last week. They had about 70% fall off, but that's still 400% up from where Impact was by itself. So you can tell the story any way you want it. It's still a success for Impact to have more eyes on the product, and the show flowed better than a WWE or AEW show. And hopefully Impact fanatics who are watching it felt that too. I just hope that, because we watch it with music in the background during the matches, that the silence doesn't push them off from it. The difference in the AEW crowd that's full of plants and, restricted fans. So in a time of craziness, they're trying to do something. So I salute them. Absolutely. But I liked the creative business that got done in the girls tag match, in the crossover with AEW, in the who done it mystery now is a money mystery, and then the reinvention of Cody Deaner, all bigs, and Rohit Raju coming down the backside of the mountain to have reactions. All great pieces of business done on this Impact Wrestling, a very well written show and a very well structured show.
This reminded me of some Attitude Era shit where every segment meant something.
You got it, buddy. And that's how it sucks that we have to say Attitude Era or Russo style. That should just be the norm. You shouldn't write a scene or have a scene on your show if it doesn't mean something in a greater overall version. If you're just got something to throw in there to mail in and it's not doing business, it shouldn't be on your show. That should just be a rule.
I don't disagree, Ben. All in all, this was a solid Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
This felt like Impact Wrestling, like I said, with just a couple of AEW sprinkles, which is what we should be getting, and then vice versa on the other show. I really hope, if you're listening to this live, or if this goes up today, 12/16/2020, I hope AEW has some Impact Wrestling stars maybe go over and do a little more crossover shit, moving forward. But this was good. This was a good watch, a solid show. Everything flowed well. Your beard looks fantastic, Ben. Is there any closing comments before we plug and get the hell out of here?
No, man, I'm right with you on all that. And I think AEW needs to go over on Impact in their house, and it sets up for rematches in AEW's house. And then it sets up for Moose to go over on whoever goes over in that feud. Like, there's ways to step this up, and then we can go our separate ways, and it doesn't really hurt to do business, because that's the line in the sand of like, okay, we're working together, but who's going to look stronger out of this? Buck's got to go over on Motor City Machine Guns. Maybe FTR goes over, or maybe Good Brothers go over on FTR, something along those lines. You know what I mean? Where they meet up that way. So there's a mix of who wins what. But at the end of the day, Omega can go over on Swan because he's got more eyes on him, a million versus 160,000. Swan's getting the rub no matter what. But as soon as Omega goes over and shows he's a more dominant champion, you have Moose beat the fuck out of him out of nowhere. No one's going to dispute the fact that Moose couldn't beat the shit out of Omega anytime he wants. Then we build to an even bigger pay-per-view where we could end in a draw, in a whatever we want to, where neither brand is truly hurt at the end. But we got to trade back and forth of who looks more dominant. In the beginning, it needs to be AEW with the dominant hand.
I think the next big pay-per-view for Impact is it Bound for Glory? I think.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think BFG was already done. It doesn't matter. You can name them whatever you want. I just call them payoff shows, and you have to write 6 weeks of TV in between. How you're going to get the best value out of it?
I do see Moose coming in and kicking Kenny Omega in the head, and
you gotta wait. You gotta wait for it when Omega's at his high point. You know what I mean?
I think Swan's going to be dropping this belt in the next early in 2021. That's my opinion. I think it's going to happen. But anyway, neither here nor there.
That's fine. That might give him a whole id to do something new. You know what I mean? And be a turncoat on something. Like, losing the belt can be more important than having it, because it can influence your character and where it goes storyline wise. Well,
Ben, listen, I have to. I bought Jennifer an exercise bike for Christmas, and it actually got here last night. I went up 3 flights of stairs with, you know how heavy an exercise bike in boxes?
Oh, I'm sure it ain't light. I'm sure it's probably about 110 pounds.
Yes, and going up the stairs. But you know what? Thanks to StevieRichardsFitness.com, resistance bands training program. I feel better than ever. I'm stronger than ever. I feel fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Russo, for this fantastic coffee that kept me powered through the morning. I have a lot to do. It is going to snow today here in New York City. Everything's going to shut down. We got COVID flying around, Ben. We got snow coming. We got Russo brand coffee, Stevie Richards Fitness. It don't get no better than that. We got Rip Rogers putting people over. I mean, what a fucking whirlwind of the week. Ben Hamin, please put over your social media as we wind down and go home.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a great night tonight. Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman with Tim Alberino joining us again. Hopefully we have record numbers. We had record numbers with 4 VKM last week and talking about UFO disclosure from the Israeli defense minister. So we'll be following up on that. And with Tim Alberino, he's a modern day Indiana Jones. So, I mean, it's one of our favorite recurring guests, talking everything from giants to machete wars in South America last time he was on that he was involved in. So tonight should be interesting. And I got a couple hot takes to go at him. So tune in back with us 7:15 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday night, twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. Rip Rogers podcast, like Ray said, totally fucking rotten, available at patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. People been asking me to do a Sopranos watch along at Hamin Media Group. Group. So, well, maybe we will, and that'll be number 48 times watching through the Sopranos for me.
how about some wrestle crap movie watch alongs, like watching No Holds Barred or the WCW?
Shout out Tiny Lister, obviously passed away. Debo Friday, Zeus. It's just about time, to be honest with you, Ray. Like that Monday through Thursday run for me is a cock knocker, and then we're usually doing UFC, so it'd be probably like on a Sunday night when there's no pay-per-view, but I'd be happy to do that, man. But people know that Sopranos, and myself are hand in hand of how I relate a lot of things as the greatest written drama of all time. So I'm thinking about doing that as well. More added content is my point at the Patreon. Put up marketing on the marketing tier, the introduction to cognitive load, behavioral strategy marketing, something I'm into as well. And I was trying to do a 2CW watch line, but the DVD keeps shitting the bed for some reason. So I'll get that figured out. But yeah, man, that's the place to be. And really, if you're a diehard supporter of all the free stuff we have going on at hackerhamin.podbean.com or Hacker Hamin brand on your iTunes, Hamin Media Group brand on your iTunes or YouTube, that's what's helping fund everything. So we appreciate you with the elite content as we brand build. And I'm looking to add more elite shows with bigger names. Nothing I can stooge off yet, but there's big things coming to Russo brand and Hamin Media Group in 2021, man. So the value and the time to get in on it is right now, because you're going to be an early adopter and get the just content that's going to pull your hair back like me and Ray. So y'all, it's prowrestlingtees.com/Ben Hamin. And we'll be back all week long, guys. Free content here as always. Go ahead, Ray.
I would like people to follow me on social media if it's cool.
Yeah, at Big Ray Hernandez. Get at him at Ben_Hamin, at Hamin Media Group on Twitter and Instagram. Go ahead, Ray.
And please, guys, give Cage Theory a shot, guys. It's one of the best podcast on this platform, along with all the other content that we're doing here. I produced it this week. I'll be producing next week. Then Colin will get back from his whole human trafficking thing, and he'll continue to produce it. He does a fantastic job at doing that. Big shout out to Matt Schaffer, who wasn't here with us. He's going on to do some really big things. Am I allowed to stooge off what he's doing?
Well, he's going to be working with Stevie Ray on Stevie Ray TV, and there may be another name that's sitting. I'm going to put you on with somebody. I'm going to put Colin on with somebody. Dr. Ted's got Rip, and he may have, hopefully, if we can get it locked down, ODB too, because I know she'll feel comfortable with him. And I think that'd be a great dynamic. There's 3 or 4 more names that we may be developing with. So it's full speed ahead, whether it's with Goldilocks or any of these stars. It's you guys being loyal subscribers, loyal early adopters, and promoters of everything we got going on as the roster just grows deeper and deeper with more veteran names and producers that become great executive producers as time goes on. So appreciate to everybody interacting in Discord with Willie A's News and the Hamin Media discussion group. Wherever it's going down, man, it's Hamin Media. We're easy to find. And if you don't know about us, now you know, infidels. Big Ray, Hacker Hamin, Impact Attack. Yalla.